Lesson 20. Review. Lessons 10 to 18. Hello. Today we will review everything we've learnt from lessons 10 to 18. So let's begin with a review of expressions of quantity. Here are some sentences for you. Each aisle is dirty. It seems like we went to every grocery store in the city. There were several kinds of cereal on sale. Ted's grocery store had many shoppers. Each and every and several and many are expressions of quantity. Now, each, every, several, and many usually come before a countable noun. A countable noun. Okay, we have some expressions of quantity that we usually put before a non-countable noun. They are a little and much and a great deal of. A great deal of plus non-count noun. And some examples of these expressions are: there was a great deal of noise in the store. Okay, now some expressions of quantity can come before countable and non-countable nouns. And these are most and all and a lot of and plenty of. Plenty of, and these are count or non-count noun. Have a look at these examples. There were plenty of shoppers at the store. There was plenty of traffic in front of the grocery store. Plenty of shoppers, countable. Plenty of traffic, uncountable or non-countable. Okay, let's practice. We've got a lot of review to do today. Let's start with expressions of quantity. Lewis, do you enjoy the grocery store?
If there are lots of beautiful women.
Same old Lewis. Rosa, how about you?
We never have much rice or sugar at home, so I always have to go. I guess I must like it.
Okay, good. And Monica?
Each time I go to the grocery store, there are lots of people, and I don't like going very much.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, everyone. Let's do a little look and listen. Look and listen. It costs $1 for an apple. Every deli smells the same. We should go to a couple of grocery stores. A number of shoppers were angry at the prices. Read and repeat. Well, now let's review participle adjectives. Have a look. Shopping is boring for husbands. Alan is a bored shopper. In the first sentence, boring is a present participle. Boring, it's a present participle. It means it's an adjective and it has an active meaning. The noun it modifies performs an action. Let's have a look there. So we have shopping is boring for husbands. Shopping is the noun. Boring is our adjective. Shopping is boring for husbands. Boring modifies shopping and it's the active meaning. So shopping bores. Okay. In the second sentence, bored is the past participle. Bored, it's the past participle. This means it's an adjective with a passive meaning. Boring, present participle with an active meaning. Bored, past participle with a passive meaning. So in our first sentence we said Alan is a bored shopper. It's a passive meaning. It means that Alan feels bored. Alan is a bored shopper, or if we change this a little bit, we could say Alan is bored by shopping. Alan is bored by shopping. So generally, ed, past participle adjectives, have a passive meaning. Okay, let's practice. Monica, who do you usually go to the grocery store with?
I usually go with my brother. He's always puzzled. He doesn't understand why I don't like it, and he always looks at the girls.
That's like Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay, Lewis?
I usually don't go. I send my sister. She finds it exciting.
Very good. And Rosa?
I go with friends. We like to watch the other shoppers. They are amusing.
Great. Thank you. Okay, let's have an amusing look and listen. Look and listen. Finding a good bargain is very satisfying for Jean. I saw my mother through the crowded aisle. Slow shoppers are very annoying. The terrified girl had lost her mum in the grocery store. Read and repeat. Okay, well now let's review different adjective endings called suffixes. An adjective can end with O-U-S, pronounced is. For example, it is dangerous to shop with a lot of children. An adjective can end with A-L, pronounced ul. The shoppers were playing musical chairs with their shopping carts. An adjective can end with I-V-E, pronounced iv. Tess is an attractive shopper when she dresses well. An adjective can end with A-B-L-E, which is pronounced ibble. For example, Liz never feels comfortable in that grocery store. And an adjective can end with F-U-L, which is pronounced full. Some of the stock boys aren't careful when they stock fruit in the produce section. There's one more. An adjective can end with L-E-S-S, which is pronounced less. I hate thoughtless grocery store managers. Now this one usually means without. So thoughtless is without thought or not thinking. Let's practice. I'm getting tired of grocery stores. What do you think of them?
I hate the thankless managers. They are rude. If we don't shop at the stores, they will close.
You're right. And what do you think, Rosa?
I don't like the awful music that they play. It's not enjoyable.
I agree. And Monica?
I don't like going to the same store all the time. It's monotonous.
Good word. Good word. Monotonous. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. And now it's time for another wonderful look and listen. Look and listen. Unfortunately, food shopping is vital. The food in this store is hardly affordable. The massive grocery store had hundreds of shoppers. The thoughtful shopper let the elderly woman go in front of her in the long line. Read and repeat. Now let's review phrases. A phrase is a group of words that does not contain a subject and a verb. So it's not a clause. It's a phrase and it doesn't contain subject and verb. Subject and verb. Okay, a phrase can be used as a subject, as in this sentence, the children's slide was broken. Well, in this sentence, the phrase, the children's slide, is the subject. A phrase can be used as an object. We could hear the squeaky seesaw. In this sentence, the squeaky seesaw is a phrase, and it is being used as an object. We can use infinitive phrases in sentences. Have a look at this example. The playground director told us to leave the park. So in this sentence, to leave the park is an infinitive phrase. And we can use gerund phrases in sentences. Here's an example for you. Going to the playground isn't as much fun as it used to be. In this sentence, going to the playground is a gerund phrase. It's also the subject of that sentence. Let's practice this. Let's review phrases. What do you think of playgrounds now, Monica?
I don't like to stay at the playground for long. They're for children.
I agree. Lewis?
Riding my skateboard at the playground is enjoyable. If I fall, there is always a beautiful girl to help me up.
Yeah, I'm sure. And Rosa?
Sitting on a bench at the playground is fun. I love children.
Excellent. Thank you all. Now let's look and listen. Look and listen. The playground director found the lost child. The child asked his mum to help her on the slide. I asked the director where to park. Building castles in the sandbox is great fun. Read and repeat. Well, now let's review noun clauses. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. So it's different from a phrase. A clause contains a subject and a verb. A subject and a verb. Now, a noun clause can begin with a question word, as in this example. Frank doesn't know where the camp is. In this sentence, where the camp is the noun clause. A noun clause can begin with whether or if. Have a look here. Betty doesn't know whether Greg has the oars. In this sentence, whether Greg has the oars is the noun clause. Another example for you. The camp director wonders if the camp needs a new raft. In this sentence, if the camp needs a new raft is the noun clause. A noun clause can begin with that, as in this example, I think that this tent is too old. In this sentence, that this tent is too old is a noun clause. Okay, well let's practice now. Lewis, what do you think of all boy camps?
I don't know where they are. I don't know what they are. I wouldn't go to one.
Thank you, Lewis. Monica, what do you think of all girl camps?
I don't know whether I would go to one. It might be boring.
Maybe you would be right. And Rosa, what do you think of co-ed, i.e. boy and girl camps?
It's obvious that they are the best camps. Guys can be interesting at times.
Yeah, we can, can't we? Okay, thank you everyone. Now I think that you should look and listen. Look and listen. The children know that camping is fantastic. Pat doesn't know if he will attend camp this summer. What the camp director said was disturbing. Please tell me what happened to the children at the archery range. Read and repeat. It's time to review reported speech. Now, reported speech reproduces the idea of another person's words. They give us the ideas, but not the exact words. In reported speech, there are changes in verb tense. Please have a look at these sentences. Quotation, the doctor is in. Reported speech, the nurse said the doctor was in. Now, when the verb in the main clause is in the past tense, the verb in the noun clause is in the past tense. So the reported speech was, the nurse said the doctor was in. We have the main clause here. The nurse said. The verb is in the past tense. So in the noun clause, this verb must be in the past tense. Past tense verb, past tense verb. There are changes in modal auxiliary verbs. For example, quotation, the doctor can't go. Reported speech, Gail said the doctor couldn't go. Quotation, the nurse will bring a cotton swab. Reported speech, he said the nurse would bring a cotton swab. There are changes in commands. Quotation, let's go to the doctor's office tomorrow. Reported speech, they said we should go to the doctor's office tomorrow. There are changes in pronouns and adverbs. The quotation is, the doctor said, I need your help. Reported speech, the doctor said that he needed my help. Quotation, the nurse said, I need them now. Reported speech, the nurse said she needed them then. Some verbs do not change. Quotation, Molly says the doctor isn't in. Reported speech, Molly says the doctor isn't in. This is usually when the verb in the main clause is in the present tense. Molly says, so the verb in the noun clause is also in the present tense. And some modals do not change. Quotation, Dr. Jones said, you should bring me a tongue depressor. Reported speech, Dr. Jones said that I should bring him a tongue depressor. Well, let's practice this now. What do you think of male doctors, Rosa?
My mother said I shouldn't trust them. I feel more comfortable with the female doctors.
Okay, but that's what makes you feel comfortable. That's fine. Monica.
My father remarked that all doctors are bad.
Really? All of them? I'm not sure about that. Okay, but Lewis, what do you think about female doctors?
My dad said I could visit one if I liked, and of course I liked.
You will always be the same, Lewis. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And now I think that you should look and listen. Look and listen. The patient said the nurse had been rude. Nancy stated that she might visit Dr. Moore next week. The nurse told me firmly that I must be on time. Nurse Adams said she needed 2 crutches. Read and repeat. And now let's review adjective clauses. An adjective clause is a clause that modifies or describes a noun or a pronoun. An adjective clause usually comes immediately after the noun or pronoun it describes, and it usually begins with the relative pronoun that, who, or which. So sometimes adjective clauses are called relative clauses. We use that, who, or which. That for personal things, who for people, which for things only. Here's an example for you. This hotel is the one that has free breakfasts. So that may replace the subject of a simple sentence. It may refer to ideas, things, or people. Here's an example for you. The hotel manager, who was in need of sleep, was arguing with the concierge. Now, in this sentence, who may replace the subject of a simple sentence. Who replaces subjects that refer to people. That elevator, which is used by hotel employees only, is being repaired. Which may replace the subject of a simple sentence. Which may replace subjects which refer only to things or only to ideas, so not people. Let's practice this. Have any of you stayed in a hotel recently?
I stayed in a hotel last week. It was the hotel that just opened.
I know the one. I know that one. Monica.
I don't like hotels, and I don't know anyone in my family who would like to stay in a hotel.
I think it's fun. Lewis?
My aunt is a concierge at a hotel in Lisbon. It's a hotel which has an indoor pool. I like to stay there.
I like indoor pools too. Thank you, everyone. Now please look and listen. Look and listen. This hotel uses beds that are made of brass. I'm staying with my friend who has a free night at the Holiday Inn. The lobby was full of chairs which needed repair. Michael is a hotel manager who gets frustrated easily. Read and repeat. And now let's look at adverb clauses. An adverb clause is a dependent clause. Remember, clause has a subject and a verb. An adverb clause, it's dependent. It's a dependent clause. A dependent clause needs a main clause. It cannot be just on its own. It needs to have a main clause. Now, the adverb clause modifies a verb and they begin with certain words. There are adverb clauses of time. And adverb clauses of time begin with words such as after, or when, or before. Here are some examples for you. After the elf left, the fairies went to work. When the giant appeared, the helpless children ran for their lives. The drawbridge had already been lowered when the dwarves arrived. There are also adverb clauses of purpose, of time, and adverb clauses of purpose. These begin with so that. They tell us why something happened. Here's an example for you. Robin Hood robbed the rich traveller so that he could buy a ring for Maid Marian. There are adverb clauses of cause. And these clauses often begin with because. In fact, they do begin with because and since. Here are two examples for you. The soldiers couldn't enter the castle because the moat was full. And since it was raining, the fairies had to wait to fly out of the forest. There are adverb clauses of condition. Now, these clauses begin with words such as if, whether or not, even if, in case, in the event that, a few more still, in the event that, unless, and only if. So quite a few for the adverb clauses of condition. Here are some examples using these words. The elves will die if they don't find food soon. The prince will marry the village girl, whether or not the king likes it. Paul Bunyan can bring a tree down even if he doesn't have his axe. The queen will wear her crown in case the visiting king comes. In the event that there is a battle, the drawbridge must be raised. The giant won't leave the forest unless he is hungry, and the dwarves will be happy only if they finish their work. Okay, we have a few more yet to go. There are adverb clauses of contrast. I put this down here. Of contrast. Okay, these begin with words such as even though, and although, and though. Okay, here are some examples for you now. Even though the prince was disappointed, he still went to his brother's wedding. Although it was snowing, the dwarves were still able to make 20 gold rings. Though the king was angry, the queen went alone to the meadow to pick flowers. And in these clauses, these words all have the same meaning. And finally, we have adverb clauses of direct contrast. Of direct contrast. Okay, and in these clauses, we use the words while or whereas. And whereas, how do I spell that? E-A-S, okay. These words give the meaning of two opposite conditions or events happening. Here's an example. While the giant's wife was content, the giant was grumpy. And The castle towers were empty, whereas the courtyard was full. Let's practice. Lewis, would you like to be in a fairy tale?
Sure, I'd like to be a prince so that I could marry a beautiful princess.
Great, okay. Monica?
I would be in one only if I could be a fairy. They're so cute.
Yes, they are. And Rosa?
Even though it sounds like fun, I don't think so. There are too many dangerous people.
That's true. Thank you all. And now, because you want to improve your English, you will look and listen. Look and listen. After the fairy godmother left, the girl found a silver coin on her dresser. Because it was so windy, the fairies had to fly close to the mountain. Robin Hood left early so that he could meet Friar Tuck in Sherwood Forest. When the giant woke up, someone had stolen his sheep. Read and repeat. Let's finish our review with a look at phrasal verbs. A phrasal verb is a verb which is followed by a preposition, and there are several kinds of phrasal verb. So we have a phrasal verb. It is a verb plus a preposition. And there are several kinds. One kind is the inseparable phrasal verb. The preposition has only one possible position in the sentence, and this is after the verb. Please take a look. Robin doesn't care about diving. We will leave for the atoll in 20 minutes. Penelope should sit down and listen to the diving instructor. Okay, in each of those sentences, the preposition comes immediately after the verb, and in those phrasal verbs, it must always come immediately after the verb. Some phrasal verbs can have a noun or a pronoun between the verb and the preposition. Here are two examples of these types. Can you ask someone for information about diving in the Red Sea? Janet needed to help Anne with her tank. There are also separable phrasal verbs. With these types of verbs, a noun object may come after the verb and preposition or in between them. Some examples. Royce called up the diving instructor, or Royce called the diving instructor up. Alice tried her new flippers out yesterday, or Alice tried out her new flippers yesterday. Let's practice. I know you all love to swim. Would you like to go diving, Monica?
I talked this over with my father once, and he said that snorkeling was good enough for me.
I see. Lewis?
If I could pick out a model to go with me in a pink bikini.
Yes, you really are something, Lewis. Okay. Rosa?
Sure. I would need a diving instructor to watch over me. I don't want to confront a shark alone.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, everyone. Now, please look and listen. Look and listen. The man was taking care of the injured snorkeler. Rita borrowed a flipper from her sister. That diver looks like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Alvin dropped by to pick up his oxygen tank. Read and repeat. Okay, now let's do some exercises. Let's do some exercises using quantitatives. Can you please fill in the blanks with the correct expression of quantity? Lewis, go first. The grocery store was practically empty. There weren't of shoppers there.
The grocery store was practically empty. There weren't a lot of shoppers there.
Excellent. The grocery store was practically empty. There weren't a lot of shoppers there. Monica, this one is for you. Something shopper had a book of coupons.
Every shopper had a book of coupons.
Thank you. Every shopper had a book of coupons. And Rosa, do the last one. Something of the cashiers were ill today.
Both of the cashiers were ill today.
Good. Both of the cashiers were ill today. Thank you very much. Well, now let's do another exercise. Please put the appropriate participle into the blank. Rosa, you go first. The husband was very at the grocery store.
The husband was very bored at the grocery store.
Great. The husband was very bored at the grocery store. Lewis, you do this one. Shopping with children can be very...
Shopping with children can be very annoying.
Super. Shopping with children can be very annoying. The last one's for you, Monica. The grocery store manager was with the lazy stock boys.
The grocery store manager was frustrated with the lazy stock boys.
Wonderful. The grocery store manager was frustrated with the lazy stock boys. Thank you all. It's time for another exercise. This one's going to be an exercise containing phrases, but they all have mistakes. So let's correct the mistakes. Lewis, you can go first. Go on the slides is difficult for fat people.
Going on the slides is difficult for fat people.
Good. Going on the slides is difficult for fat people. Monica, do this one. The mothers wanted leave the park, but their children weren't ready.
The mothers wanted to leave the park, but their children weren't ready.
Very good. The mothers wanted to leave the park, but their children weren't ready. Rosa, the last one's for you. Played at the playground is always more fun for children.
Playing at the playground is always more fun for children.
Fine. Playing at the playground is always more fun for children. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Now let's do an exercise practicing noun clauses. Okay, we are all going to be objects. Rosa, you're a raft. Lewis, you are a tree. And Monica, you are an oar. Each of you give me a sentence about yourself using noun clauses. Rosa?
I don't know why these wet children are on me.
Okay, very good. Lewis?
I can't hear what the birds are saying to me.
Okay, and Monica?
What the boat said to me was horrible.
Okay, you're all very funny. Thank you. Now let's do an exercise using reported speech. This should be fun. Lewis, you're a doctor. Monica, you're a patient. Rosa, you're a nurse. And you are all angry. Okay? Give us a sentence using reported speech. Lewis?
Rosa, you are an idiot. You said this patient was feeling better.
Louis, you didn't hear. The patient said he wasn't ill anymore. He wants to go home.
Monica?
You didn't hear? My roommate said he wasn't ill anymore. Both of you should quit your jobs.
Great, great. Good job, everyone. Okay, it's time to do an exercise practicing adjective clauses. Please fill in the blanks with the appropriate adjective clause. This time you're not angry, okay? So you can be nice to each other this time. Rosa, you go first. The elevator, something, could only reach the 9th floor of the hotel.
The elevator, which wasn't working properly, could only reach the 9th floor of the hotel.
Super. The elevator, which wasn't working properly, could only reach the 9th floor of the hotel. Monica, do this one. That is the concierge.
That is the concierge who was so kind to the blind man.
Okay. That is the concierge who was so kind to the blind man. Lewis, you can do the last one. The Holiday Inn is a hotel.
The Holiday Inn is a hotel that usually has live music on Friday nights.
Good job. The Holiday Inn is a hotel that usually has live music on Friday nights. Thank you. And now let's do an exercise reviewing adverb clauses. Please put an appropriate connector in front of each adverb clause in the following sentence. Monica, you can go first. Something, the children weren't naughty. Santa hadn't brought them what they wanted.
Even though the children weren't naughty, Santa hadn't brought them what they wanted.
Good. Even though the children weren't naughty, Santa hadn't brought them what they wanted. Rosa, can you do this one? Please put my stocking up, something I forget it.
Please put my stocking up in case I forget it.
Great. Please put my stocking up in case I forget it. And Lewis, you can do the last one. The adults can open their presents, something the children are finished.
The adults can open their presents after the children are finished.
Excellent. The adults can open their presents after the children are finished. Wonderful. Thank you very much, everyone. Now it's time for our very, very, very last exercise. This is the last one ever. Please put an appropriate preposition after each verb to form a phrasal verb. Monica, can you go first? We should leave something the atoll soon.
We should leave for the atoll soon.
Good. We should leave for the atoll soon. Lewis, do this one. Did you pick a new mask?
Did you pick a new mask out?
Very good. Did you pick a new mask out? And Rosa, the very last one is yours. I hope you will come something to visit me.
I hope you will come back to visit me.
Of course I will. You are the very best. Thank you, everyone. And now it's time to listen and write. Listen and write. Now listen and write these sentences. Number 1. Every aisle was full of shoppers. Number 2. They had some interesting sales at the new grocery store. Number 3. I don't understand why the campers aren't here yet. Number 4. The little girl felt uncomfortable pushing the shopping cart. Number 5. The busboy who had been at the front door was fired yesterday. Number 6. The nurse said that the patient had to wait. Number 7. After the giant finished eating, the elves came out of the cave. Number 8. If the genie doesn't grant Mary a wish, she will certainly cry. Number 9. Dwarves are short, while giants are very tall. Number 10. The diver looked at the jellyfish cautiously. Now check your work. Number 1. Every aisle was full of shoppers. Number 2. They had some interesting sales at the new grocery store. Number 3. I don't understand why the campers aren't here yet. Number 4. The little girl felt uncomfortable pushing the shopping cart. Number 5. The busboy who had been at the front door was fired yesterday. Number 6. The nurse said that the patient had to wait. Number 7. After the giant finished eating, the elves came out of the cave. Number 8. If the genie doesn't grant Mary a wish, she will certainly cry. Number 9. Dwarves are short, while giants are very tall. Number 10. The diver looked at the jellyfish cautiously. Read the following story and answer the questions.
read and answer.
Frank has two businesses, a flower shop and a pet store. When he is bored with them, he likes to write short stories. He says that it helps him to deal with stress. It is also a useful hobby. He sometimes makes a lot of money from his stories. Frank is presently writing a story about a witch and her boyfriend. She and the boyfriend, who is really a vampire, have lots of fun. Because they are both evil, they play terrible tricks on people and animals. When they are finished, the witch takes off her broom and the vampire goes back to his castle. He usually sleeps in a coffin in the tower. They only meet about twice a week. As a result, the creatures that live in the forest are safe and secure most of the time. Now listen and answer the questions. Number 1, how many businesses does Frank own? Number 2, what does he do in his free time? Number 3, why does he write? Number 4, why is his hobby useful? Number 5, what is Frank's new story about? Number 6, why do they play terrible tricks? Number 7, what does the witch ride? Number 8, where does the vampire usually sleep? Number 9, how often do the witch and her boyfriend meet? Number 10, do the creatures in the forest feel safe and secure most of the time? Now check your answers. Number 1, how many businesses does Frank own? He owns 2 businesses. Number 2, what does he do in his free time? He writes short stories. Number 3, why does he write? It helps with his stress. Number 4, why is his hobby useful? He makes money writing his stories. Number 5, what is Frank's new story about? It's about a witch and her boyfriend. Number 6, why do they play terrible tricks? They play terrible tricks because they are both evil. Number 7, what does the witch ride? The witch rides a broom. Number 8, where does the vampire usually sleep? He usually sleeps in a coffin in the tower. How often do the witch and her boyfriend meet? They meet twice a week. And number 10, do the creatures in the forest feel safe and secure most of the time? Yes, they feel safe and secure most of the time. Well, thank you for studying with me and my assistants in this Level 3 English for You project. Remember to keep practicing, go over the tapes or the VCDs, look at them again, learn your vocabulary, and practice, practice, practice. And if you meet anyone who speaks English, practice with them, say hello, they'll probably talk to you back. Okay, good luck and bye-bye.